Jamahal Hill blasts Magomed Ankalaev, claiming he's ready to step up and take him on. Hill was set to face Roundtree at UFC 303 this past July. Roundtree was pulled from the fight due to a failed drug test. Hill expressed his frustration, questioning how Roundtree could be favored for a title shot despite this recent setback. He's coming off tainted drug tests, tainted supplement, whatever. He's coming off that where he was set to fight me in a light heavyweight contender fight to where now he gets to bypass that and now it's straight to a title fight, Hill said in a video on his YouTube channel. Another top light heavyweight contender, Magomed Ankalaev, is set to take on Alexander Rakic at UFC 308 in October, with a win surely earning him his well-deserved title shot. Ankalaev has speculated that Rakic may pull out of the bout, urging that Hill remains ready to step in and settle their online feud. Responding to Ankalaev, Hill said, "This dude just can't stop trying to clout chase in whatever way he can, bro. For you to say I'm crying because I spoke on an obvious fact of the game that affects everybody in our weight class. I see what you're trying to do. You see that the whole fan base are kind of against me. They want to try throw shit on me. You think you can get some cool points by jumping on that bandwagon and call me out. Stop it, bro. You're talking this fly out to Abu Dhabi, this and that. If you want to fight me, I'm the former champion. If my phone rings and they need someone to come step in and handle you, you're light work for me." Tom Aspinall rips Jon Jones as he sends him brutal retirement warning. Tom has finally shut down his Mr. Nice Guy persona and gone after Jon Jones as their UFC title feud begins to heat up. The British heavyweight has been relentlessly pursuing a fight with Jones since claiming his belt last November. Despite his best efforts to set up the matchup, it seems the legendary 2-weight champion, who holds the undisputed title, is more focused on other opportunities. Jones is currently gearing up to face Stipe on November 16th at UFC 310. However, many believe that with Stipe turning 43 this year and coming off a 4-year hiatus following a devastating knockout loss to Francis Ngannou, this may not be the most relevant matchup for today's landscape. Tom Aspinall is usually known for being respectful towards his opponents, but in a recent interview on the Believe You Me podcast with Michael Bisping and Anthony Smith, he broke from his usual demeanor and decided to speak more harshly. Jon Jones was praying that I would lose that fight against Curtis Blades, he explained, praying that I would, because there is nowhere that you can find publicly, nowhere, him saying publicly that he will fight me. It doesn't exist, and I challenge anybody watching this interview to go and find a statement, a quote, anything where he has stated that he will fight me after he's fought Stipe. It doesn't exist. The guy is smart. Aspinall went beyond his usual remarks, suggesting that Jones was closely watching his win over Blades at UFC 304, ready to strike on Twitter had Aspinall lost. "We know he's a bit overweight these days," Aspinall continued. "The guy was sat there with the Cheeto fingers or whatever, Doritos on his fingers, with his iPhone in hand, waiting for me to get knocked out, let's just be honest." Aspinall believes Jones and Stipe is a bullshit title fight. "Why are you giving a guy who's 42 or however old he is a title shot?" he continued. "I completely understand and have respect for Stipe and what he's done in his career. And Jon Jones, on the contrary to what people might think, them guys aren't the best heavyweights in the world right now, and I'm not saying they've not had amazing careers because I idolize them guys. I want to have a career like that. That's what I'm aiming to do with my life, what they've done." The recent news of Khamzat Chimaev losing his discipline and sneaking candy bars into his gym shocked the MMA community. Apart from having constant health issues and pulling out of fights, it seems Khamzat also struggles with discipline. Michael Bisping revealed on his podcast that someone close to Khamzat told him Chimaev isn't as disciplined as he used to be. According to the source, Khamzat has been sneaking candy bars into his locker room to keep them away from his coach's view. Joe Rogan was quick to react to the news during his guest appearance on the podcast. Discipline is a thing you learn how to do. There were many days where I didn't want to work out, and I just forced myself. And I think there are very few people that know how to force themselves. That's a learnt skill. You must be willing to put the intensity into your training camps, and focus and dedication into your craft. Sometimes people that are really talented, things come a little too easy for them and they don't want to work as hard. That kind of discipline and focus, you have to have real rigid requirements of yourself where you don't allow yourself to back out of things, and you don't allow yourself to slack off. If you do that, your body will perform more smoothly, and if you require your body to do things like that, I think it rises to occasion. It's how you walk through the fire. You can walk through the fire complaining along the way, or you can walk through the fire and create an example for everyone else, because they're comparing themselves the way you handle things. If you handle things with discipline, you can show fans they can handle their own life this way. A lot of it is the mindset. Dan Hooker wants to steal the Conor McGregor fight from Michael Chandler. On Saturday evening, the Hangman clashed with Mateusz Gamrot in a thrilling battle that kept the crowd on the edge of their seats. The two warriors exchanged heavy blows in a back-and-forth fight, with Dan emerging victorious. Both fighters earned a $50,000 Fight of the Night bonus, but Dan was more focused on Conor McGregor than the cash. In his post-fight interview with Daniel Cormier, Hooker made it clear that he's now targeting a matchup with the Notorious. But while the fight would make a lot of sense for the 34-year-old in both the legacy and financial department, Michael Chandler is still very much in line to fight McGregor next. However, Hooker has no issue with disrupting the Chandler's plans. He told the Mac Life, "Because I am an absolute troll, so the biggest troll move you could do of all time is to snake that fight off Chandler. He waits all that time and then Conor just fights me anyway. That would be gold. I would feel like the biggest snake troll of all time. I'd get my black belt in Trolympics." If the Kiwi fails in his quest to secure a clash with McGregor, he'd more than settle for a monster bout with a different legend, Max Holloway. Dan has some thrilling options ahead of him. Who would you most like to see him face off against next? Conor McGregor or Max Holloway? A fight with McGregor would be more fun in terms of the build up to the fight, and of course a guaranteed banger once they step into the octagon. A bout with Holloway would also be a showcase of incredible striking skills and heart. Share your thoughts on which fight you'd prefer and why you think it makes sense. Kamaru Usman looks back to his sparring session with the current middleweight champion, Dricus du Plessis. In his recent appearance on Pound for Pound podcast, Usman said, "He's not the sharpest, he's not the cleanest, but there's just got to be power. It's been a few years, but I sparred him way back in the day, and I don't remember him being that powerful. I always knew he hit hard, he swings hard, but now I feel like he's confident in his power to where if you really watch him, when he throws those big shots, both legs aren't on the ground. This guy must have some power now, because both legs aren't planted on the ground. He's almost leaping into the shots. What really did it for me is his all-around savviness in the game, because if you see him the times where he gets the takedown, he instantly advances to the next dominant position." Usman also erupted over Henry Cejudo for saying DDP is the king of Africa now, which didn't sit well with Usman. "Explain. Why would you say that?" Kamaru asked Henry. Henry went on to defend du Plessis, explaining that the whole feud began from Dricus's comments, and that Cejudo understood the notion behind his claim of becoming the true African champion. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for daily MMA news.